Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the In-Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I'm doing the new arrival video for February 11th, 2022. All right, so starting to get into the swing of things here at the new store, starting to get some pretty decent arrivals, some long-awaited stuff that I've had, but haven't put in the system to show you guys because I knew we were getting ready to move. But first thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was a couple of hot pre-orders. One of them is the next one step. Mobile Fidelity's next one step is going to be Muddy Waters Folk Singer. And it's actually scheduled to arrive really soon. It's coming at the end of February, kind of the beginning of March. It's up for pre-order on the website right now. They've announced essentially a 5-year run of one steps. But a lot of the one steps they've announced, they haven't given any inclination of when they're coming out or even the quantities. They've kind of just said this is what we're going to do in the future. So I know a lot of you guys have called me looking to pre-order, you know, Van Halen one steps or future one steps, but there's so many years in the future that they haven't essentially released quantities and the one sheet for retailers like myself to build the item because it's so far out in the future. So, you know, I get all the one steps. I've gotten every one step in the past. So if you guys, you know, hang out on a lot of those announced one-step titles, you know, you'll be able to pre-order them from us. It's just going to be closer to the arrival date, not necessarily 5 years out. But yeah, Muddy Waters Folk Singer. Also 2 new pre-orders from Speaker's Corner. The first one is actually my favorite Alice Coltrane record and one of my favorite jazz records of all time. It's Eternity. There's a track on there, Los Cabellos, which is, God, one of my top 10 favorite tracks of all time. It's fantastic. Go online and listen to it. You might like it, you might not. I've talked about it many times on the channel. It starts off really slow and it kind of builds, you know, it starts off almost, you know, she does a lot of meditation type music and it almost starts off like a meditative jam in a way. And then it gets into full out crazy avant-garde wildness by the end of the song. But it's really, really good. I'm super excited they are doing that. I actually own the safety master to that. I bought Ed Michel, who was a producer on that record. I bought his collection in California, record collection, but I also bought his tape archive. He had, you know, maybe a good 10 by 10 wall of reel-to-reels, a lot of safety masters, you know, a lot of stuff, dupe copies that he made for himself. I've listened to that record and it is unbelievable sounding. I listened to the reel-to-reel. Sounds absolutely fantastic. One of the things most people don't know about that, and I didn't even know about it until Ed told me, is that album originally was quadraphonic, but it mentions it absolutely nowhere on the record that it's quadraphonic. But if you play it on a quadraphonic player, you'll get quadraphonic sound. I told Ed Michel, I'm like, you know, this isn't a quadraphonic. He's like, yes, it is. I'm like, no, that wasn't quadraphonic. He goes, I recorded it, it was mixed, and it was only done quadraphonic. Then he went over to his tape wall and pulled it off and said, here, it's quadraphonic. I'm like, didn't know. I don't have a quadraphonic setup to listen to it. But yeah, cool little known fact. Also, Charles Mingus, oh yeah, on Atlantic. I really hope somebody gets into doing the Atlantic stuff. There's so many great titles on Atlantic that haven't been done. Coltrane, Mingus. But yeah, we're getting Tone Poets and Verve series and all these different contemporary series. We're getting all these different series people are talking about they're going to do that's already announced, already in production. I really hope we can get something going for Atlantic. But yeah, those are the pre-orders for this week. A lot of you guys commented that the wall kind of, you know, the back of the store looks a little bit like a DMV or a hospital. You know, we're working on it. The whole store has not moved over yet. You know, I've got some wall anchors on order to where I can get records on the wall. CD racks are going to kind of go over there. We finally got the under bins in, you know, the bargain bins. Started bringing more equipment in, but it's a, you know, it's a work in progress. This isn't exactly a light hobby. You know, if any of you who have a decent sized record collection have ever had to move it, you know what I'm talking about. So, you know, take that and then multiply it by many, many times over. Okay, so this is an import I got directly from Japan. This is Elvis Presley's first album, his self-titled, the iconic Elvis record with, you know, Blue Suede Shoes, Tutti Frutti, I Got a Woman, you know, classic early rock and roll Elvis. The translation on this is a little bit funny, but from what I gather, this was actually cut from the original master tape. The translation doesn't always come over really well with, Japanese to English, but from what I've been able to find, this is cut from the original analog tape. This is pressed at Sony Japan. This is absolutely stone quiet, in the realm of like a one-step quiet. I mean, the stuff that is coming out of Japan now from Sony's factory is unbelievable. It's like the Mobile Fidelity records of the 80s. This is the pressed in Japan records. And if you look at this, this is actually a full tip-on jacket. This is a heavy cardboard cover like the original. I mean, the quality of this is fantastic. I did give it a listen. I have to compare it against the original. You got to keep in mind, Elvis's first record was definitely not a hi-fi record, but this did sound really good. Some more Japanese. The first chunk are all Japanese imports. John Coltrane's, Coltrane Sound, and all of these are exactly the same, and I'll kind of show you. They're all heavy tip-on jacket. So fully replicated tip-on jacket. This is a Coltrane Sound from Atlantic, but extremely, I mean, the quality on this is fantastic, and they're even shipped with the obi, and the record is shipped separate from the jacket, so there's no damage. Not the Elvis, but most of these, you're getting a DJ type sleeve on the flip side, so you don't get any shipping damage. The Japanese are really absolutely fanatical about quality, and I've always been. I've never been a big fan of the 70s, 80s, the Japanese records from the past. I've never cared for their mastering choices, but nobody could doubt the quality of not only the cover, but the vinyl itself. Coltrane Sound, this is mono. Coltrane Jazz, this is also mono, right? Yeah, this is also mono. Same thing, heavy duty tip-on jacket, DJ sleeve on the back. This is a restock. I've already had this in the past. It's been sold out for some time. Same thing, Miles Davis, Someday My Prince Will Come. This is, I think they did this. What is this? I'm going to say this is mono because it's got the mono label, mono cover, and the mono category number, but it's not listed on the back like the Coltrane's were. Charles Mingus. Pitherectus, I can never pronounce this. It's this record. Pitherectus icaretus, something along those lines, give or take 15 or 20 or so letters. But yeah, replicated the original black label Atlantic. This is the mono pressing. Really nice. And if you look at this, and actually I didn't notice this until just now. So the original of this was that laminated cover, and check it out. This is the laminated cover as well, just like the original. This is my favorite way of reproducing a record. This is an exact replica of the original. Tip-on jacket made the exact same way with the laminated cover and all. Now these are actually printed in Japan, so the mastering was done in Japan. But these are printed, I want to say at Palace. These were printed in Germany. That's the Mingus title and the Coltrane titles. The Miles Davis, the Elvis, the Sony titles were all printed at Sony Japan. The only one of these that I've actually had a chance to listen to that I've showed you so far is the Elvis. These I haven't got to yet. I've been too busy. This I've listened to already because I've had this record for years and it sounds unbelievable, like you would expect it. Santana's Lotus. This originally is a Japanese-only record. It originally only came out in Japan. It was a concert, triple disc. This has been out for a couple of years. Really elaborate trifold cover. This was actually mastered by Mobile Fidelity, pressed at RTI, but this is only a Japan-only release once again. So although it was mastered by Mobile Fidelity, the lacquer was cut by Mobile Fidelity, pressed and you played it at RTI, you can only get this in Japan. Now this was actually done from the, what is this, the Quad DSD 11.2 megahertz file. The sound on, so it's digital, but the sound on this is absolutely dynamite. It really does sound killer. And it's, you know, this is going to be a sleeper MoFi, a MoFi that most people don't know exists. Maybe you wouldn't consider it a MoFi. You would consider it kind of like Metallica. They did some Metallica mastering back in the day, but this was, you know, mastered and cut by Mobile Fidelity. So yeah, and they use the sticker on the jacket, so there's some affiliation there, right? And actually in the hype, Mobile Fidelity is mentioned all over the hype sticker on this. Historic 1973 live, mastered by Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs on 180 gram RTI press vinyl, plus the original 22 panel artwork. Not cheap, but yeah, really good. Flower Traveling Band, unbelievable early like hard rock, Japanese hard rock record. Iconic cover. It is a gatefold, and it is essentially a bunch of naked Japanese men driving their Honda motorcycles there. You know, they're Hondas. Driving their Honda motorcycles. Really killer record. An original, this is like probably $1,500. This was done as a record store day release a while back. The hype on this actually says the original master tapes were sourced to make this. So I'm going to assume this is significantly better than the budget, you know, the budget version that came out for record store day, which might not have even been licensed. There was a few record store day titles, I want to say in 17 or 18, that were Japanese. They were essentially bootlegs, but nobody knew it at the time, but it turns out they were bootlegs. There was a reissues, I think was how it's pronounced. It was like a Japanese erotic lounge singer. Great record. I love it. Play it actually quite a bit. And this was the other one, but I'm not sure if they were officially licensed. But this is a killer record. Check this out. They do a cover of a Black Sabbath song on this. That's great. There's a little singing on there as well, but you know, really, it's they're Japanese. They got a Japanese accent. Let me get through the Japanese stuff. This is actually the inaugural record pressed at Sony Japan. Billy Joel's 52nd Street. Listen to this when it came out. Sound on this is actually fantastic. Very first record ever produced at the new Sony Japan. This is the Grover Washington Jr. White and Light. This is Fusion Analog Premium Collection. So analog in Japan, they use that word a lot to refer to albums as opposed to CDs. Doesn't necessarily mean it was cut from analog. But this is actually another one of those titles where everything was done in-house in Japan, mastering, jacket, all done in Japan, but the disc itself was done at Optimal. Boss Skaggs, Silk Degrees. Now this is going to be done in Japan because this is a Sony title and it is their plant. Here's a good record. This is like some early 80s electronic Ryuichi Sakamoto. This is actually all done in Japan. So manufactured in Japan, covers manufactured in Japan, but they actually got Bernie Grundman to cut the lacquers on this. So actually, and they announced it there. Vinyl mastered by Bernie Grundman. Kind of cool that Bernie gets, it's not just here in the United States where Bernie gets the credit. Bernie gets the credit all around the world, including in Japan, to where they sought him out to master this. And I want to say maybe this was done from the original tapes. I'm not sure, but probably. Again, the translation's a little But they sought Bernie out to master that record. Bob Dylan, Highway 61 Revisited. Of course, Sony Japan. Sony owns Columbia. And this is another title, that Sonny Rollins, The Bridge. This is, everything was done, oh no, this was done all in Japan. Disc cutting as well. And the newest Miles Davis title, Milestones, and this is the mono version. All right. Kelly Stoltz, Third Man record. This is the indie vinyl exclusive. It's like a swirl vinyl. Newest release from Third Man. The newest Tone Poet. This originally was supposed to come out last week. It was delayed a week. So now we've got it a week later. But yeah, Joe Pass for Django. I actually prefer this kind of Tone Poet. And this kind, I mean the non-gatefolds. The gatefolds are nice, and I would never, you're getting, you know, a little bit more bang for the buck because you're getting more for the same price. But when you start getting obnoxious amounts of records, wall space is nice. And again, like the Japanese records, how they're more faithful to the original. I always dig the jacket that's more faithful to the original. But a Tone Poet that you don't see too often, which is a non-blue note Tone Poet. Yeah, this is an original Pacific Jazz. All analog, cut by Kevin Gray. The Tone Poets are all amazing. They're so good. I can't even tell you how many people I've recommended, you know, hey, you want to hear a great sounding record? Try this. Not this per se, but any Tone Poet. Try this. Oh, that sounds fantastic. And I like the music too. I don't know how many people actually got into jazz because of the quality of these records, but it's a significant amount. These were from last week. Prince had about 8 reissues. Most of them were heavily allocated. So I was able to not even show them to you because I guess I should have showed them to you, but they were allocated. I didn't have any to sell. These are the copies that I had leftovers of. $19.99. This has the metallic cover. There was also, I feel like there might have been a couple more Prince titles. They're not in the bin here, though, for me to show you. I'm not sure. Dan Andorano, Dear Darkness. This is on Epitaph. Some reggae. The Cimarrons. Skinheads, a mashup London Town. 1970 to 71. This is on splattered vinyl. John Mayall, Roadshow Blues. This is on limited edition red marble vinyl. We've got Danzig, number 5. This is on black haze vinyl. When are they going to get around to reissuing the original Danzig albums that go for obnoxious sums of money? Doesn't seem like it's going to happen, huh? Saxon, Carpe Diem. And Hicks Tape, Volume 1. What's going on here? Let's see. This is a limited edition yellow and red haze vinyl swirl edition of Bob Marley's Soul Rebels. So just a color exclusive. This seems to be a record that they keep putting out every couple of months in a different color variant. Amos Lee, Dreamland. Mastered for vinyl, pressed on black wax. This is on dual tone. Sun O. What do we got here? This is black vinyl. Meta Benevolence on Southern Lord. You know, that black metal, doom metal. I can't read it. We've had this conversation, though. All right, Dream Theater. The Majesty demos, 1985 to 1986. Gatefold, 180 gram 2 LP, including the album on CD. It's on Sony Music. What's this? Eric Krasno, Always. Soulful grooves from 2-time Grammy Award winner and founder guitarist. Let's see. This is yellow vinyl, limited edition of 300. Well, that's not very many. It's like 2 per every country in the world, rounds about. It's not that most countries are buying new vinyl records, but yeah, that's a very small quantity. The Shame, Drunk Tank Pink. This is on clear red vinyl. Yeah, so this is funny. So when you get like an indie exclusive and the barcode is part of the artwork, and then they have a vinyl color exclusive, boom, right on the front with this 1970s looking red hype sticker. Hollis Brown, In the Aftermath, paying a little tribute to the Stones with that cover. Yeah, just because of the cover, I'm going to have to give this a listen to. Oh, wait a minute. Here, look at this. It's all, definitely got to give this a listen to. It's essentially Hollis Brown doing Aftermath. Painted Black, Stupid Girl. It's all Stone song. It is Aftermath. Pretty cool. Got to give that a listen. Ernie K. Doe. Mother-in-law. What is this? This is, let's see, Ernie K. Doe, self-titled. I wish I gave, you know, some more pressing time to these great 60s and 70s soul groups. There's so very little of that in print. And very, very, very difficult to get. Anyways, in Phoenix, very difficult to get clean copies of stuff like Ernie K. Doe or Brenton Wood. That kind of stuff is just difficult. Sophie and the Broken Things, Delusions of Grandeur. Let's see. Oh, look. It was kind of a homage to COVID there, maybe. Everyone's got a mask on. Everybody did, looks like, the photo shoot from their iPhone at their house. Oh, Hicks Tape Volume 2. So we've got the complete series, if the series consists of Volume 1 and 2. No idea what this is. I'm going to have to give this a listen to. It just looks bizarre, huh? All right, and Poppy, Flux. And last is Axis self-titled on limited edition silver vinyl. And that is it for this week's new arrivals. A lot of stuff coming in the next coming week, though. I've got a lot of stuff going to arrive. It's going to be a busy week. Check us out online, guys, theingroove.com. Until next time.